Alright. I am SDiezal. We're going to be doing Shovel Knight 80%. Will they better? There we go. Alright. I'll give you a countdown. In 3, 2, 1, go. Alright. Alright, so this is Shovel Knight. It's a retro-inspired platformer, very similar to Mega Man. In the 80% category, we're going to be getting a few items along the run that's going to help us out. A few of these items, actually all of them, are going to cost gold, so we're going to need a certain amount at each point in the stages. Alright, made the first jump. That is the leap of faith. That jump there claims a lot of lives. You have to make it at the very edge of that ledge. Make the jump. You're going to see some examples of what we call shovel canceling. Basically, when you jump and use the shovel attack, as soon as you land on the ground, it cancels the shovel animation when he swings the shovel. We're going to use that for a few boss fights, mainly Black Knight, where we're going to see at the end of this stage, and in just a few areas throughout a couple stages here. Here's a certain set of blocks that we're going to break. Use the ceiling there to get down there quicker. And here we have our first boss, Black Knight, which we're going to use a stun lock for. He got the first hit on me. And he got the second. That's better. So normally we hit that on the right side, but I let him get a few first shots on me. After each stage, you're going to see a little cutscene here, which we're going to skip right away by pressing start with him at the campfire. We're going to take a mandatory village visit here, and we're going to leave. That is required throughout the story mode. Next, we have Pridemore Keep, which is home of King Knight. And in this first screen, we need to get through it as quickly as possible to make this fire cycle right here. And we got Gentle Jump. Gentle Jump is when you jump through a screen transition and swing your shovel at a very specific time, and it allows you to gain height as you make the screen transition. Right there, we used it to get up to the top ledge without having to go through the bottom path. And we also seen our first example of the propeller rats. They are pretty random. Sometimes they'll get in your way, sometimes they won't. You're also going to see me hit these dirt piles as I run along. It doesn't lose any time when you jump and swing your shovel at the same time, and you get a little bit of gold from each dirt pile. It does add up over time. Head bonk there. He needs a damage boost against this Griffin. And went the wrong way.
Let me know when you got some time for a couple donations.
Sounds good.
We have a $5 donation from Jim. It says, "Go Diesel, we're all super proud of you." We have a $20 donation from Aaron Go Brad. "Good luck and have fun, Dazzle. All the D's Court is rooting for you. Shovel that nasty plague in the face."
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Aaron. So yeah, we're gonna see Plague Knight here later on in the run. He's known for being a nuisance. And here we have King Knight. Yeah, not too bad. You want to avoid that that cane hit that he does. Usually you can just step back and let him hit it and then go back to hitting him again. And we're going to do another cutscene skip. There we go. And now we're going to take a village visit here. In this route, I use the Chaos Orb. There's a few different routes you can take in the 80% category. One being with an orb, one being with a flare wand, and one being without either, which we've just started doing recently. There we go. It's really easy to buy the wrong item there. It's good to kind of make sure you don't buy the wrong item. I've bought the fishing rod many times, which results in immediate reset. I collected a note inside that wall there, which I just sold to the bard, which gives me some gold that I'm going to need to buy some items later on in the run. And we're going to the Lich Yard. Lich Yard will introduce the frogs. These frogs, they have a little bit of randomness to them as to which way they're going to jump. They're not really a huge problem until we get to the second to last room in this stage, in the dark room. So in these dark rooms, you pretty much just have to memorize where you got to jump. It's the same pattern for when the room goes dark. Alright, I'm going to take that guy safe. That's fine. There's an example of how random the frogs can be. Sometimes that one at the top can go to the left. Majority of the time it does. That time he went right. We're going to be breaking a checkpoint right here. It's one of the very few checkpoints that gives a good amount of gold early on in the game. And here we go, the dark room with frogs. Alright, they're very favorable. We took a damage boost there so we can get this dirt pile right here. And you have to make it quickly enough to make that platform within the first cycle. Alright, so we took a death there. That was unintentional. I think in there, and that's one of the reasons why the dark room can be so brutal, is the skeleton there. Usually you can jump past the skeleton on that same platform and then jump to the next one. And because we didn't get that checkpoint, which probably would have been a good idea in that room before that, we're going to be back a little bit. So that also poses another problem. I'm going to be a little bit short on gold. So I'm going to be breaking that checkpoint in that room in hopes I do not die there again. That room is pretty troubling. Alright, there we go. That should make up for the lost gold. Now, normally you can collect the gold, which it looks like I may have. Yeah, I think I did. But in some cases where you die, it'll be in a spot where you cannot get your money back. So there we got a little bit. I think I got a few money gold back. And here we have Spectre Knight. So there you saw an example of the shovel canceling. And we're going to go to RNG. With Spectre Knight, you take a damage boost to get behind him, and then you spam jump and attack for shovel canceling. And then in that case, we actually got good RNG to where he went back to the same spot. In that second cycle there, he can actually go to the right side, and you can lose some time. It's either one way or the other. This is a cutscene that we cannot skip. It is the first dream sequence. And the goal here is to take damage as quickly as possible by taking sword strikes from the skeletons. Very good. And we got the catch. You want to try to land right under Shield Knight. It saves about a second. There we go. And next we have Mole Knight stage, which is going to contain a very tricky skip. Hopefully we'll get it first try. It's going to be Beetle skip. And I'm going to focus on this one. Okay, didn't even get close. That's okay. So in order to finish the stage the right way, we actually have to reset back to the map and then try it again. We'll try it one more time. Nah, it's okay. No Beetle skip today. Shout out Munch of Koopas who made up this strat. It's very difficult. Basically requires that you land on that beetle and have to follow with that blue bird all the way to the right. And you have to get through those blocks without slowing down or getting stopped at all.
I have a $50 donation from Tenmachi. Go, 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 SDiezal. We're all rooting for you, even Stocky.
Thank you, Tenmachi. I have a nickname in the community, SDiezal. Might hear that once or twice more. Tenmachi is also part of the Spade Brigade, which is the group of Shovel Knight runners that we have been running the game since it was released. There we bought the Knuckles. The Knuckles are a really good item for speedrunning. It allows us to pass through certain objects and enemies without, in most cases, having to kill them. And it does save a few frames per knuckle, but you do get off there. Break that checkpoint because it does not lose any time. Let's see how favorable Beetle 2 will be. So there's another skip right here we call Beetle 2, which you can knuckle the blue bird there across that gap. But you do need to break the blocks within a certain amount of time to get there. Next we have Mole Knight. So there we used orbs at the beginning of the fight, which damages him as he goes left and right. And then we throw orbs against the left wall as he comes charging out of that to travel with him and damage him as he dashes to the right. So yeah, had some mistakes on Mole Knight, but we didn't lose any gold, so that's good. Next we have Explodatorium, which is home of Plague Knight. Both casually and in a speedrunning sense, Explodatorium can be a mess. This stage contains some global cycles that we're going to hope get to on time. Moving platforms. That first room was a little bit of a mixture of low percent strats and any percents. You can use the knuckles to get through the blocks there. Now, as soon as the stage starts, these lava pot lids have, they start with their own cycle. And as long as you get to this room with no mistakes and no stops in the first part, then you can guarantee it's going to be the same pattern every time. That's another thing about the game is the slimes. The slimes are very unpredictable. As we saw there, he jumped to the right as I was going forward. To get to that room without stopping, generally you don't want the slimes to move at all. And here we have the mid-boss for Explodatorium. Not bad. It takes a certain amount of hits to kill him. We use Knuckles to get behind him and then just spam shovel cancel attacks against him. Coming up is a little ladder skip we're going to see. we have named Ghetto Smoggy Skip. World record holder Smoggy created this strat. Basically, we're going to take a damage boost from the top flame there. And then on our way down, we pogoed that enemy we call Chompy to grab the ladder in the next screen up.
I have some words of encouragement from one of your friends.
Okay.
We have $20 from Stocky. Roses are red, and some words are vague. So for this run, beat the heck out of Plague.
Thank you, Stocky. All right, so that last screen there in that room is very tricky. I didn't realize how low I was on health. There we go. It's with the global cycles on the lava pot lids. Sometimes they're in your favor when you get there, and sometimes they're not. I did not have a favorable cycle there. Wow. Okay. We're going to have to go through that part a little bit slower. There we go. I may have lost a little gold there, so I think I'm going to be breaking this last checkpoint here. See if I can get some of it back. There we go. Should be okay. Now, to get through that part, you want to pogo the green Clone Knight. Yeah, let's go and do that. And get through that wizard guy. That was just a terrible showing of it. And here we have Plague Knight. Alright, and there we could just get an example as to why Plague Knight can be a nuisance. He jumps all over the place. The fight is really determined on his first jump. He has a few different jumps that he does right at the beginning of the fight. That one wasn't so favorable, but it's a decent fight overall. Next we have Treasure Knight stage, which we have underwater physics that we'll see here. So basically being underwater, you'll have a little bit higher jump. Your movement's just a little bit slower. For the most part, the stage is pretty straightforward. We're going to use the shell there to hit the bubbles on the bottom. And coming up is going to be the room with a bunch of tentacles. Hopefully we get a skip here. Got it. Alright, so if you throw an orb as soon as you enter that room, it'll hit all those tentacles right in a line. It saves a lot of time. If you don't get it, the back up there, you probably lose about 5 to 6 seconds. It's a very nice strat. And here we have what we call 420 fish. Hopefully he doesn't give us an example as to why we call him 420 fish. Alright, we got the one cycle. Very nice. so used to getting health there, I didn't need it. We call him 420 Fish because sometimes he likes to go a little bit above, I missed the dirt skip, of where you're standing for literally no reason at all. And it's just kind of a name that caught on. And here we have anchor skip coming up. Hopefully we get a good RNG here. If not, we won't be seeing it. Nope. So normally, if that enemy shoots the green shots at low level, you can pogo them across the anchors. There's another way of getting across those anchors faster. It requires you using the water physics and jumping on each anchor as you go. It's pretty tough, and I usually stick with the green shot method. And here we have Treasure Knight. We're going to use orbs against him. Orbs are really good against Treasure Knight. As you can see, we made work of him really quickly. And you also saw me use shovel cancel attacks against him. They're just really good against just about every boss in the game. And here we have the second dream sequence. Unskippable. You get a dream sequence after every third stage. In this one, we're going to do the same strat here. We're going to try to take damage as quickly as possible by taking sword attacks from what we call Duck Knight. Bird came in our way there, and that's the other problem. Is there's so many enemies flying on this screen that it's easy to take damage from anything other than Duck Knight. You can also take damage from the falling potions, which gives you a full heart of damage. And the reason why we want to die as quickly as possible in those dream sequences is they last about, I want to say 20 to 30 seconds. And you don't. Alright, so we're going to take an armory visit here. We're going to buy 2 items. Oops. We just bought the Conjurer's Coat, which turns Shovel Knight purple, and Charge Slash. The reason we bought Conjurer's Coat is it gives us 50 extra magic at the cost of taking double damage. And it's going to come in handy here with the next item that we buy, and Propeller Knight Stage. And then we bought Charge Slash, which allows us to inflict double damage with each hit. In Propeller Knight Stage, we're going to be buying the Propeller Dagger, which is one of the most useful items in the game for speedrunning. Here we use that beetle to skip up here. We're going to break this. Well, actually, we don't need to break that checkpoint. Usually we do, for gold purposes, but I did grab some extra gold because I died a few times and I wanted to make sure that it'd be okay. You need 4,000 gold to buy Propeller Dagger. I got to that screen really late. We have a mid-boss coming up here called the Dinghy Dropper. I'm going to grab health from him just to be safe. He takes a certain amount of hits. Yeah, just shovel cancel him until he's done. You can actually time your hits and pogo him on the last one and make it up to the top ledge. Through the screen, you want to get through it as quickly as possible to avoid any issues with that fan there. And there's the Propeller Dagger. So the propeller dagger allows us to dash forward, like so, at the cost of 4 magic each time. It is very helpful in the route in a lot of tricky areas. And here we come with the triple Jawa room, which we're going to take a little bit slowly here. There we go. And the reason being is they can be a pain. As you can see, they blow their propellers at you, stopping your movement. They will show an appearance later on, but mostly they're an issue in this stage. I call them Jawas because they look like Jawas from Star Wars. They're one of the most hated enemies in the game. If you start speedrunning this game, you'll find out why. Mostly because their randomness makes it a nightmare to get through screens quickly. In this room, we have the... Oh, I got a favorable cycle there. Usually we have to wait on that ladder for those fans to go. And wind tunnel room. Got it. One of the scariest rooms in the game was right there. To avoid those spikes, you need to get through it as quickly as possible. And coming up here is Propeller Knight, which I'm going to use Charge Slash and Knuckles. Got him. So in the beginning there, he does his thrust with a sword. We use an attack and then a shovel or a charge slash in between each one. And then on a certain number of attacks, you can predict his movement. In that sense, he goes to the right. And assuming he goes to the right, you can do 2 pogos, and then to get on level with him, you use Knuckles to finish him. Here we have Clockwork Tower, which is home of Tinker Knight. Whoa.
We have a $10 donation from Aaron. Roses are red. I rhyme better than Stocky. Jawas are jerks. They should really take a walkie. Hashtag I tried.
Thank you, Aaron. The roses are red, violets are blue kind of donation thing there became a tradition in my stream. A lot of donations with just random poems and memes and whatnot. And they always have a competition of who can make the better poem. And they knock it out of the park every time. Alright, so here we just bought the mobile gear. The mobile gear allows us to cross past such as these spikes here. And it's a little bit faster than walking. Whoa, okay. Alright, that was... Usually we use the Knuckles to get through him, but that'll work. Actually, propeller daggered against the wall. These daggers are very random. the amount that shows up and their location can change depending on your location. They kind of follow where you go. During this auto-scroller, pretty much just need to get through it as quickly as possible. Don't want to stay too low, or it's an easy death. And here we have Tinker Knight. Tinker Knight has two phases. First phase, we can one-shot him with a gear. In the second phase, we're going to use gear again. But we're going to make sure that it's rolling against him on that top platform, right to the left of him. And we got him. There's another strat involving the knuckles that you can get them a little bit quicker with, but that one's just as good.
Just a quick reminder that we do have a bid war going on for Rescue versus Exterminate the Bosses. Right now, Rescue is ahead by $30. So if you want to kill those bosses, then make sure you donate for that cause.
Rescue's ahead, huh? Here we have Polar Knight stage. One of the heaviest stages in the game for strats. Oh god. In every room you're going to be using a relic to get through each screen as fast as possible. Here we're going to be using Knuckles to get through these. That's a lot. That'll work. I used a little bit too magic there, so we should be okay. You have to watch your magic count throughout the stage. You don't want to be too low in certain rooms. Here we have the statues of the rainbows. Whoa. Sorry. Whoa, there we go. That room's a little tricky. Keep Knuckles there. So as far as like relics and items go, we're done buying anything, so gold is no longer an issue. Going to be taking a damage boost here to get up the ladder a little bit faster. And we're going to be using Knuckles here and there to save some time, and right up here. And we're going to be throwing gear to cross the spikes a little bit faster. I'm going to get ready for an enemy here. There we go. And we're going to be health in the wall right there. And next we have Polar Knight, which we're going to be using orbs and shovel cancel attacks. Alright, not bad. The idea is you want to stay in his hitbox as you use shovel cancel attacks, which allows you to travel with him without taking damage. And using the orbs as well to damage him. And here we have the last dream sequence in the game. Shout out to everybody in the Discord and Spay Brigade for staying up this late watching the run and the donations. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. This is definitely the earliest in the morning I've ever had to do a speed run. Yeah, there we go. So we have 3 stages left. First we call the tower entrance, or Tower 1. Some of the best music in the game. Shout outs to Jake Kaufman. He is a musical genius. Made the music for Shovel Knight. Oh, you did not switch to Knuckles there. That's okay. Okay. We're supposed to switch to Propeller Dagger there to get across that gap. Let's try it again. Like I said, luckily, we don't need to buy any more items, so gold is not an issue. That room's very tricky. You have to switch relics pretty fast. There we go. Much better. So I needed to switch from Knuckles to Dagger. Using controller, you have a relic swap button. And the key is to memorize how many swaps to the next item you need to be. If you're on keyboard, you can actually hotkey to certain items, so you don't have to cycle through them. Here we have, we're going to use a Chompy here in the wall to skip this part here. There we go. I'm going to do an immediate pogo to this Drip Samurai. There we go. So as you can see, Propeller Dagger is very helpful in the speedrun. Just allows you to dash past these enemies and just do pretty much every long walkway in the game. Oh, we need to get a magic in here. There we go. And that Jawa was nice, thank you. That Jawa can sometimes just come down and make your life a nightmare right at that platform. And here we have Black Knight 3. Which, the strat for this quick kill contains a very specific stun lock. Let's see if we can get it. And we messed it up. It's okay. Alright, we're going to see some pretty crazy attacks from Black Knight. We might actually die here. Yep. That's fine. The quick kill for Black Knight, the stun lock that we saw similar in Plains, is much harder in this fight. Let's see if we can try to get it again. Nope. Jumping is not working today. And we're gonna have to avoid some attacks here. We might die again. This fight's pretty tough if you don't get the quick kill. Let's try to get it again. We almost had it there. Oh my God. Let's try it again. Because we have the Conjurer's Coat, we're taking double damage, so that's what makes this fight a little bit tough. We're gonna miss that one, so let's try it again. Alright, so we had to take a much slower method to kill him there. I wish I could have shown off the stun lock there. We've shown a little bit of it. It's almost a frame perfect stun lock to get that one. It's much different than the Plains fight. And the backup for that is pretty much trying to pogo him from up top. Yeah, it's a pretty difficult fight. Okay. Next we have Tower 2. Tower 2 contains Boss Rush, which we'll be fighting all the bosses back over again in random order. Okay. Let's get back up here. There we use Knuckles to get through that room quickly. And then we jump at the last one. And we're about to see our last appearance of the Jawas, which can still be a nuisance. Right there. Kind of want to hesitate on the first one and let him make the first move. You want him to start blowing his fan on you so that you can get past him. The worst thing you can do is rush the first one, because then he can turn around and then blow his propeller at you into the pit, which makes getting across that room very difficult. We have an auto-scroller here, so any time for donations, you can go right ahead.
Well, we currently have no donations, but once again, we still have the bid war going on for rescuing and exterminating all the bosses.
Which will actually be coming up right after this auto-scroller.
So this is your last chance, guys, to get those donations in, because you want to see either the boss being rescued or exterminated. We have just gotten a donation, $35 from Aaron, which says, no rhymes, but heck to all the bosses.
Thank you, Aaron.
And with that, currently, Exterminate is ahead by $5.
All right. So we're going to be exterminating the bosses, and by doing so, we're going to be leaving them behind after boss rush. You have an option of rescuing them off the wall here. And here we have boss rush. Now, the order of bosses is completely random, minus Polar Knight being in the first 3, which we're going to get them right here. That was a good fight. Oh, we're going to have Plague early. That's good. got rid of him. Plague in Boss Rush is possibly the hardest fight in the game. And we got Propeller. Propeller can be possibly the second hardest. If you don't time your charge slashes correctly, he could be a nightmare. We're gonna make sure we get this dinner plate. We might, yeah, we got hit. That's fine. We got robbed. When that happens, TreasureNet actually steals money from you inside the chest. Alright, thank goodness we have Tinker last because we need magic for him. And I was at no magic right there, but I did have magic in the dinner plate, which the dinner plate, there's a magic pot in every other one. That's a weird side to start on here. Whoa. And we got rid of him now. It's the same fight applies right here. Really bad gear throws there. But we got him. You want the gear to land on the platform to the left of him. And we are leaving the bosses, correct?
Correct.
All right. So here you have an option of saving them or leaving them. We're going to leave them today. Thanks to your awesome donations. Thank you, everybody, for the donations. I appreciate it. I believe the last time that was a donation incentive was at AGDQ 2015, and that was to save them. Here we have the Enchantress fights. There's just going to be 2 of them. And we're going to be riding the gear towards Enchantress. We're going to be using gear and orb for the first fight. Alright. That was a pretty good kill. Basically, we use the orbs to inflict damage when she goes to the left, which then activates the gear to run against her, which also causes damage. And as she's moving from the right to the left, we're using 2 charge slashes to damage her. Here we save just enough magic to use gear to jump up and grab Shield Knight to save us some time. Time is going to be on final hit to Enchantress 2 here. And we're going to be using Dagger. Propeller Dagger to attack her. I actually messed that up, but that's okay. Shield Knight, what are you doing? There we go. And time.
55 minutes and 14 seconds.
With all the amount of deaths, that's actually not bad. There was a lot of just ridiculous, nonsensical deaths in that run. A lot to Black Knight 3. The one Inspector Knight was just due to the Dark Room. But yeah, not a bad run at all. And here we have the closing credits, which will go through all the stages, show all the knights, the aftermath of Shovel Knight saving the village. During the credits, I want to give a shout out to the Spade Brigade, which is the group of Shovel Knight runners. Muncha Koopas, Engage, Smoggy, Maestro, Primorix, Tenmachi, who we heard a donation from, thank you again. Speed Frog, Tolu, a couple others. We do have a Discord open for anybody willing to learn the game on speedruns.com. Shovel Knight, you can find a link to our Discord in there. Always welcoming to new runners. We always help out the new guys. Xcloud. We have a bunch of low percent runners, any percent. We also have Plague Knight runners. A whole group of guys with us. Also want to give a shout out to Yacht Club Games. They've been very helpful to us in speedrunning this game. If we find any issues, or they always like to get feedback from us, they're very helpful, very welcoming to the speedrunning community. One of the nicest developers out there. They're awesome. We have 2 more campaigns coming out for this game, Spectre Knight and King Knight. First being Spectre Knight, coming out in March of next year, which is going to be pretty awesome. I look forward to that as well. Also want to give a final shout out to all my friends that stayed up and watched the run, all for the donations. You guys are awesome. Thank you. I went a little bit over estimate, but and that'll do it. That's Shovel Knight. So we can pretty much skip through this part here. Right to the credits.
Big thank you to SDiezal for representing the Shovel Knight community out